But yes, let's go ahead and move on to our discussion. And this is one that is 2-3 months in the making because of constant problems. Uh, but yes, Tales of Equestria.
Last few months we've been busy.
We've been kind of in and out, but yes, for the last few months in our book RPG campaign, we switched over to Tales of Equestria. And why would we do that? Because we wanted to give it a fair shake and be able to review it for you guys and tell you all about this book RPG. Now to kind of give us a little warm up here on what exactly was involved with this. Tales of Equestria is it's a book RPG that was made by
Yep.
Riverhorse over in the United Kingdom. It's right now the only book RPG that's officially licensed. So yeah, all the other book RPGs out there that contain ponies is obviously more fan work and a creative licensing. While this one is officially based in Equestria in the My Little Pony universe with My Little Pony characters. Now, of course, due to the fact that My Little Pony is, we have to admit, meant for a younger demographic for the most part, it is a beginner's book RPG. So where most book RPGs you're spending an hour or two developing a character, rolling your stats, re-rolling, then re-rolling again, and then you throw that 20-sided dice that keeps somehow rolling 5 different times across the room just to have to pick it up and roll it again. This one, you just roll a d6, or you don't even roll a d6 in some cases. You just take a number, literally.
They have a dice chart
There,
back
there
of
are,
the book
yeah,
for
there
people that
is.
don't have dice.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this book, it actually does have a dice chart that is at the back of the book. Toa, didn't you get a PDF scanlation of this?
And let me get. It should be in the RPG chat.
Yeah, it'd take me forever to dig it up though. Could you repost it so I can grab that from you? Oh, and oh wow. Okay, that's not exactly pony related, but still cool. Sorry. Oh, what the?
Hmm?
This is what I get for randomly clicking things in our Discord chat. Let's. Okay, back on track here. So, as I mentioned, I took my RPG group, sans a blinked mind, because he didn't exactly want to play pony for the moment, and we ran a campaign. Now, of course, the campaign was pretty simple. It was based around a farm town enjoying their 20th anniversary as the one place to get peaches and plums in Equestria. Of course, it's a
Didn't
small.
want to do the apple stereotype.
Yeah, well, most of the small towns are gonna have some sort of farming economy, to my knowledge.
And boss, I reposted the
Right.
link in the thing.
Okay. So yeah, we'll. Whoops. We don't want to give that out that too much. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did have a scanlation of this. However, we did buy the book proper, and we only used the scanlation for a little bits of this and that, and we will be using it for this and that here. However, yes, as I mentioned, our campaign in general was the whole idea of a bunch of ponies that were just starting to get their cutie marks and try to learn all about friendship and happiness and all that fun stuff. Of course, sorry, I really should have wrote up something on this, but I was kind of all over the place today.
Basically, we took the roles to what would be like main six territory. We're in the middle ground when you start out because you just got your cutie mark.
Essentially, not just we played them as all the characters as foals who got their cutie mark about a year ago. Of course, they were all on vacation while a big holiday celebration was happening to celebrate the 20th anniversary, as mentioned before. And then I just dropped them in there and let them go at it. Probably not the smartest decision I've ever made, in all honesty, but I will give a little bit of background scenes, background information. Thank you, Brain. A little bit of background information. I developed no less than 20 different pony characters for them to encounter, an entire mapped area, and also 5. It actually started off with 4, and they managed to run off with one that I did not anticipate. Book RPG groups. But it's 5 different scenarios that they could run across and play as their campaign. Of course, they ended up grabbing onto the one thing that I wasn't expecting to be a campaign thing, which was Trixie the Unicorn visiting this town after her unfortunate run-in with the Ursa Minor, which she thought was a... Oh, no, she knew it was a minor. Which, yeah, the Ursa Minor and the unfortunate fallout of her magic show after that happened, before she went completely psycho, cuckoo, crazy banana nuts.
Named after that episode.
Right. So, yeah, essentially they ran into Trixie, and I was just having her as a fun little cameo. And instead they just said, you know what, we're going to help Trixie with her magic act, and therein lies our campaign. So, we spent 3 weeks taking a look around town, enjoying the different views. Some of them were playing a bit of a Dance Dance Revolution game here and there. That was kind of fun. And we also got to run around shopping stalls before they basically outfitted Trixie with a bunch of new magic tricks, a new outfit, and were able to see the fruits of their labor. Unfortunately,
the pile of fireworks was fun.
Pile of fireworks, yeah.
I should probably remove that from my equipment list now.
Yeah, probably be a good idea.
Yeah, magic stuff. But also, off selling stuff at Camelot KC, someone came up with the bright idea to call our group the Problem Solvers.
Actually, I thought it was the Ultimate Problem Solvers.
Yeah, the Ultimate Problem Solvers. I've got it in my notes here. We are the Ultimate Problem Solvers, and our first task is to help Trish.
Yeah.
Yep.
If anyone remembers a very bad cartoon that was on Cartoon Network, you can understand when I got back and heard that, I'm like, what I am seeing.
And if you don't know it, then you're probably just like me and don't really know what's going on anymore. So, as we mentioned, this was a beginner's RPG book. There were a lot of things that were done a lot more simply than the standard RPG. Instead of having about 200 different talents and 50 different stats and all sorts of stuff, it boiled down to three simple things. You had body, mind, and charm. Charm was admittedly kind of the weird third one that they had thrown in there for some reason. And also, you had the 3 different pony races: Earth ponies, unicorns, and of course, Pegasus. Now, some people might be thinking, alicorns? Why not an alicorn? They actually do address that in the thing, but stating pretty much, alicorns are rare. Alicorns are very rare. They're incredibly rare. No, you cannot be an alicorn. They are rare. They are either born as an alicorn or they are brought into magnificence. There's only 5 of them. Well, yeah, 5 of them known in all of Equestria for the moment. No, you are not one of them. You are not an alicorn. Stop it.
But I could be. You never know.
Yeah. But along with choosing your pony race, you also choose a few different talents and also your element. Which basically kind of is essentially your alignment.
Playstyle.
Well, a playstyle or alignment. Instead of lawful, neutral, chaotic, evil, or miscreant, or diabolical, or something like that. You're basically, do you play in more of the kindness area, generous, laughter, all that fun stuff. Of course, at the same time, it also, your you're not the full embodiment of it, so you just kind of lean towards that in your normal day-to-day surroundings and situations.
Character I came up with. He was a prankster, and while he did make some people happy, he also rubbed other people the wrong way, which made him more of a difficult character whenever it was a serious mission.
Yep. And of course, you have your different traits. As we mentioned, body, mind, and charm. Stamina, which is essentially your life. You can't exactly die in this game. You can just overexhaust yourself really badly to the point where you may be asleep for days, but so far, from what I can tell, there's no way to actually die. Then again...
Yeah, thinking about the stamina, during the session where we did the DDR stuff, we should have had some stamina run down, because that was an intense gaming session.
Yeah, I should have, in all honesty. I should have done that. That was my bad there.
So, hang on. Are you saying that if they fall off a cliff and they just happen to be at the bottom as a bloody mess, just come back in like a day or two and they'll be fine?
They wouldn't be a bloody mess. They would be more like really hurt, and their stamina would probably be negatively depleted and need several days rest before it refills.
Yes, this is meant for kids. There is no death.
There's no death.
I'm pretty sure the monsters are just going to be knocked unconscious.
They're not dead. They're not dead. They're just unconscious with a sword through them. They're all asleep.
It's like Pokemon.
Yeah, it's just like Pokemon. You defeated them with a either a giant earthquake or a typhoon that would put tons of pressure on them.
All right, actually, this gives me a great thought right off the bat here, and I do have to thank you so much for chiming in. Chat room, if you have any thoughts, questions, or idea, or you want to know more about certain aspects, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to expand on them. We're going to be a little bit freeform in how we're talking about this, admittedly, because we don't exactly have an idea of how we're going to talk about some of this, but if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to try to expand on them. We will be keeping an eye on the chat. So, but getting back...
I can say death is handled in this. Remember George of the Jungle, and when that dude fell off that very tall bridge, and the narrator said, "Don't worry, no one dies in this film. They just get really big boo-boos and get bandaged up."
Actually, I would have gone more with the effect of George in the Jungle and just him hitting the tree and just getting the body imprint. It gets silly, but you're not going to die. Worst case, you're going to have a crater-sized body print of you on the ground for a while.
And just to show some aggravation, because I still have some from making this, it took me no less than 5 attempts to finally get to the product you are seeing on your screen.
But again, we don't condone copying this stuff. Please buy the book. It's not that expensive, and it does help support a really good product, in all honesty.
I only made this from stuff that was online and open to the public. It was not taken from an actual thing of
moving on.
Moving right along.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, why aren't you guys playing like Roan or something, because that's a pony-based game.
We do actually.
Yeah, we were taking a break from it to go over this, to actually give an actual look over it.
Yep. Our whole point here was to test this out and actually see what this book RPG is all about, so we can do a proper review of it for the show.
Yep.
So we'll actually be going back to Roan next week.
Had I been paying attention, I really should have used Healing Touch when Trixie came stumbling out and smacked her head.
Nah, did you ever Band-Aid?
Yeah.
But I vaguely remember using 2 dice on something, and I don't remember what. I don't think it was Healing Touch.
Getting the fish.
Was it the fish?
No. Stout Heart thing. Once per session, add Stout Heart die to a body challenge roll. Might have been that.
Huh.
But I don't think it helped because my body roll is higher than my Stout Heart roll.
Huh. Weird. Man. Well, in any case, moving on to it. The interesting thing about this particular game is that the dice rolls are based off of, well, just your general dice. Lowest is a D4. and you actually move up based on dice sides more than you actually do anything like pure numbers. Like when you level up on something from a D4, it goes to a D6, to a D8, to a D10, to a D12, etc., so on and so forth.
Which I actually like that type of thing, because another mechanic is if you get like your max on that dice, you can go higher, and if you don't roll higher than your original, then you stay at the original, and it's just oh, you could have done something more type thing.
Yeah, this burst mechanic was very nice.
Yep. The burst mechanic is actually an interesting thing. It's basically saying, okay, so if you got a critical on one thing, but it's not enough to actually complete what you're after, you can continue to roll one dice higher. And if you get a critical on that one, you can continue to do so until you either fail or you reach impossible heights. But essentially, at one point, you're going to roll where it's not a critical anymore, and it takes the highest roll that you've gotten out of either the critical that got you there or the roll itself. Case in point, if you rolled a 6, so you took a d8, you rolled that, you ended up getting a 5 out of that, you would still have 6 because that would be your critical, as opposed to the 5, which was a lower roll, obviously. It takes the higher of the two. I admit it's a little confusing to try to explain right off the bat, but it gets better. It gets a little more understandable as you go. But yeah, it's called the die burst. Okay, so well, in any case, that pretty much explains the core concept of it. Just to boil right back down to where this all started to begin with, it's a good RPG book. In all honesty. It's not it's not 100% fantastic. It does have its flaws, and it does show exactly what it is. This is meant for younger audiences or newbies to book RPGs. You know, if you want to do something extremely convoluted and complicated, or come up with some crazy character that has like the mightiest muscle skills, but all he could do is play bass guitar or something like that, you're gonna have a little bit of a difficult time trying to pull it off here. But if you're just wanting to have a simple, fun time, create a nice, quick character, enjoy a crazy session where you're walking around someplace and you end up getting into a slap fight with a minotaur, this could be a good way to do it. Okay, I probably could have worded that better.
Yeah.
Any case, why don't we go ahead and get some thoughts here on some of the players, starting off with Toa. Toa, could you just give us your thoughts about the entire experience with Tales of Equestria?
Compared to Rome, this was a little bit easier to like start off, and since we didn't have a big backstory, and we already knew each other, so we could just bounce off and go, "Hey, remember that one time?" and then come up with stuff on the fly.
Which they did, much to my infinite chagrin at points.
But because of that, we are also a part of the storytelling of the game. So it's more player involvement than just go to point A, fight monsters at B, and get to C. Game where you can do, hey, let's roleplay hardcore, or let's joke around with this. It's a very flexible game, if anything else. This is licensed.
And remember, chat room, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, this is officially licensed. This is right now the only book RPG that is officially licensed by Hasbro. And I almost said Nintendo there for some reason. I don't know why. But it is officially licensed by Hasbro.
The only downside
does a lot of things.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The only downside I would say is whenever you have the character sheet, it's not very well defined and where you put your loot. Second, can you go to the end?
I'm already on top of it here. Yeah, I got the character sheet up. Just keep talking.
Basically, with the Pony Creator, you can make your character and print it off, and you have a physical copy, like you can copy the pony sheet, then yeah, you can go, okay, here's my pony. Loot that you have or that you bought. I don't see anything there. Portrait, but I'm just saying it's a minor design flaw. But they don't.
Well, not exactly a design flaw, but it is definitely an annoyance. It does give a good reason to have a back sheet that you can use for inventory as well as bit purposes, and also smaller things that aren't covered in here. But yeah, the main character sheet is missing some fields that would have been nice to have in there, but at the same time, those fields can get crazy at points.
But that was my only major gripe in Circuit. It is very wisdom and good skills made up our own online sheets. If you're playing with friends that love ponies and have tabletop sim, that's your best. Do it online. But if you're doing it in the wild, like at a convention, then it's always good to have like a print off so you can just start and be like, here's what I got and what I bring to this adventure.
All right, status effects. Okay, I'm trying to look it up right now, but I don't believe there was actually much in the way of status effects in the game here. Other than there is definitely fights called scuffles, of course, and status effect themselves essentially, other than just running out of stamina and passing out. But in fact, I think everything can really be tied down to stamina, including maybe a poison or just plain exhaustion, getting beat up, things like that. Anything status effect related would probably just all tie into stamina, really.
I think it does, yeah.
The first book. There are multiple other books that probably build on this first book, so
it's like Pony D&D. Not exactly, no. In fact, I'd say it's more like Pony D20. Just for a better idea, the Pony D&D can get a lot more complicated. Except I never played D&D version 5, so I can't say for certain.
It's just the Pony D&D we've played as Roan.
Well, we played Rome, but it's not D&D either. That's based off of a what was it system? It's not
Pathfinder system.
Not a Pathfinder. No, it's actually it's based off of a different dice system. Unity? No.
Fate. Isn't it Fate?
No, it's not Fate.
Savage World?
Definitely not that.
No.
Anyway, it's based off of a different system altogether. So D&D probably has their system copyrighted to hell and back, so you wouldn't want to use it anyway. Anyway, are the different ones are pretty much the same as other DM2? Could you DM2 DM12? Could you reiterate that a little bit more? I'm not quite sure I follow on the question. Anyway, but yeah, for the moment, I believe status effects, other than the ones that you guys can't, that other than you can inflict on other people, is pretty much all stamina based. Of course, there are plenty of baddies to run around: diamond dogs, mohawks, quarry eels, crocodiles, Zakora, apparently.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah. For the Roan one, it's basically you roll the number of dice.
Well, Roan, actually, it's a very specific system that they used. I just can't remember it because I was trying to find the dice sheet based off of it, or a dice roller or something. But let's leave that alone for now and get back to focusing on this. Oh, okay, I answered it. Okay, never mind then, DM12. Thank you. Let's see. Would I play a Pony Portal game if they made one?
I would.
Yeah, probably. Not exactly related to what we're talking about, but I would. All right, Toikoi, did you have anything more to add to the experience there?
If you flip some of this stuff, it can be some of the best fun you have. You're not the DM.
Yeah, it's always fun unless you're the DM, because you're the one that has to do all the work.
But whenever I go and be like, I am laughter, so that must mean and from there I go, hey guys, remember that time I built up the entirety of City Hall and cleaned it out with water and soap. And they go, yeah, you trapped someone in out.
Actually, admittedly, that some of the random stuff got really random and kind of weird. But
This is
essentially,
a world where you have colorful Equestria that can go DBZ if they really want to.
fair enough. All right. Toa's kind of breaking in and out there, but sounds like we got a consensus from him. CMC, could you voice your thoughts on all on this?
For the most part, it's nice and simple, and I could see trying to just write up a basic storyline to run if I had a group of 7 to 12-year-olds that wanted to do a couple sessions. The only annoyance that I have is that you really need to keep notes of which talents you use for that level up process, because I'm pretty sure I used one and I don't know what, and if I did use one, that means that I can level up 2 things. If I didn't use any, that means I just level up 1.
Yep. the game does reward you for actually using your talents instead of just having it in case. Getting a bit of a question here in the chat room right Kale Sakai. Is there just one book you need to play? Yes. You only need the core book, the Tales of Equestria, in order to actually play it. However, right now there are expansions. There is the Curse of the Statuettes mini game, a storyline adventure that is pretty much laid bare for you, so you can just use that if you don't want to make up an adventure. There's also little plastic pieces called Tokens of Friendship. Yeah, there's that too.
Well, from what I know in each book, there's the storyline portion, but this first book also had the character building. And that new book that's supposed to come out with the other characters is going to have a little bit more on that, as well as the bestiary now.
Yep. Along with that, though, there is one other thing. I'm trying to dig it up here real fast. But yeah, Tales of Equestria does also... The River Horse has actually designed a few... Really? You don't have it in here? Okay, fine. River Horse also announced that they will be doing another story campaign. I can't find it for to save my life here, but... Yeah, they have another storytelling campaign that will also get involved with other shenanigans too, but we don't know it. I don't know anything else other than the fact that it's something they're working on. Oh, the Festival of Lights.
Oh yeah.
Mmm.
Which basically
That sounds interesting.
Yep.
Like the story campaigns as stuff that's happening in universe, but we don't see because we're not from the main six point of view. Then we can basically see new canon that can come from it if writers take inspiration.
But yeah, for those of you who are curious, Festival of Lights, step into Underfold, the ancient city beneath the Badlands in the southern reaches of Equestria. Underfold is sheltered from the world, but plagued by threats from deeper in the darkness. Need your help. Can you delve into the deepest lakes and darkest cave to face the dangers within? Will you be able to help the ponies of Umberfold hold their ancient and magic ritual, the Festival of Lights?
Wait, Umberfold. That name seems familiar.
No. Just no. Don't even think about it. No. No.
I'm a Dark Souls player. I'm ready to go to the deepest depths. It's fine.
No, you're fine there. That's not what I was referring. No. No, we are not going to hint at that fandom. I'd rather not have to deal with that. I love them. I just don't want to deal with them.
For Undertale?
No. We are not mentioning that we shall not which be named.
Moving on.
Okay. Anything else you want to throw in there? Anything else you want to throw in there, CMC?
Running a naive character after running how Pulpe is trying to take notes of everything, it's just very insane. Because naive characters, they don't try to drive the story at all.
No, they don't.
Well, Well, also playing a prankster character versus a more stoic and methodical one. In my opinion, funner, but I prefer to be like the wall and shield versus a hey, let's go and have fun type of thing.
You
Opinion
know,
I
it's
got.
funny. Every time I ever ran a character, it's always been a very aggressive, lightweight character. So meant to go in and fight and get out real quick. I've never ran a heavy defense character ever in these games.
And I do like the variety of talents that they had in the book, because there's a lot of interesting little things you do, such you can build to whatever you want.
Yep, true. You actually got quite a lot of variety, especially for what the game is, and that's actually a lot more of the fun of it.
Especially the shiny peg or fault or talent or whatever. I can't remember it off my head because that can be
Oh,
anything.
right. Vaguely remember that. It's somewhere in the talents page of the book.
Yeah, the
I don't remember which one it
shiny.
is.
Yeah. I have that, and it's anything technological. We didn't run across anything in the game to be that aside from video games, but I was playing against Silence, so my excitement was overran by competition.
Yep. All right. Okay, I don't think we got too much more to add here at this point. Are there any more questions in the chat room?
Any more questions?
Nope. Okay, so that is pretty much it for our current review of the core book. As I mentioned both in a couple of times already so far in the show, we do have two other books that are going to be coming out. We do have the movie book that's actually based off of the My Little Pony movie that it has officially been announced. Of course, the source book here will contain the locations from the movie, characters that came from the movie as well, expanded rule books, create other creatures that can be encountered, and of course we have the bestiary that should also be coming out as well. So once we can get our hands on all of these different books and probably run another few sessions with the new books, we may come back to review the new content. As for everything else, I hope you guys enjoyed our little review of this. My personal review off the top, if you want to try it. It's fun. If you've never played a book RPG, it's definitely a great way to come in. But if you are an experienced player and you just want to have something that's a little more simple and relaxed, this is definitely an option too. But yeah, if you want something that's deeply, it's a lot of complicated plots and trying to plots. No, sorry. Complicated plots and a lot of weird things going on and having to and creating a character where you're maximizing this stat, minimizing this stat, bringing out a bunch of strategy. There are better pony-themed book RPGs out there to really set your strategic mind ablaze, but this is a lot more simpler and relaxed, which is also fun. It's always good to just dumb it down a little bit. And yeah, not to it couldn't be confused with that particular series Chaos Akai. For one thing, Tales with that series is Tales, but we're leaving it off there. Blah.